Welcome to the game of love. The evening had settled in. The disciple watched as the flames of the campfire danced, making all sorts of shadows in the forest, an eerie silence in the air. The disciple's mind drifted into the silence of the thought. Master, can you explain what we mean by the will? Asked the disciple. Yes, of course, replied the saint. There are 4 types of will. The first is self-will. That will which is defined against the will of the Lord. A will that is a spiritual impediment that will blur our goals. That will which makes itself the center of creation. The primary reason for our reincarnation. And here, son, many sins are committed. This is self-will, and very strong in those who live for the world. This will creates an indiscipline within us. Here, all actions are driven by the rationale of the ego. Can you explain the second type of will? Asked the disciple. The second type, son, is that will that has evolved to a higher elevation. Here, a desire to recognize the existence beyond the me starts to germinate from within. Here, small steps from the selfish towards the unselfish will begin to unfold. This is also known as good will. In our second stage of our will, we start to become more compassionate. And this, my son, is the starting point for the higher will. What is the third stage of the will? Asked the young student with eagerness. The third stage. Yes, this is the stage of awakening. Stage of awakening? What do you mean, master? Asked the disciple. Here, the self-will will start to lose its grip. Our empathy towards others will increase many-fold. We will find ourselves more attracted to nature. We will feel the sacredness of life in and around us. We will begin to recognize that all humanity is united as one. We will develop an increased level of inner peace, and a spiritual hunger to unite with the Lord will develop. Our spiritual eye will begin to open. The saint looked at his disciple. Son, the less there is of your will, the more you will see that life flows as it should flow. The less there is of you, the more synchronicity will be seen. The less there is of you, the more divinity of the beauty can be seen. The less there is of you, the more divine happiness you will experience. The less there is of you, the more others will open to you. The less there is of you, the more vast you'll feel. The less there is of you, the more peace you will feel. The less there is of you, the more there is of love. In total submission of your will, all that is the will of the Lord. And the final stage, can you please explain this will? The disciple asked. Yes, son. Here, in the final stages, there will be no mind. There will be no waves of the thought. One will float free. One will experience the continuity of the self. the soul will fall into the surrender of the divine. Our soul will become our mind, and in this way we will be led by the divine. All experiences that we had once held will be forgotten. Our memories of the painful past will be permanently erased. We will become as innocent as a newborn baby. How can we fall into the divine will? Asked the disciple. The saint smiled. My son, look, feel, observe, for through the power of the divine will, there is so much light, love, and attraction radiating in creation that once touched, one will lose the desire to express their own will. This divine will infuse you with much spiritual energy. Son, this will is transcending. It is whole and complete. This divine will is transmitting. It lives through the plants, the animals, and creation. This will is transforming. It will transform that which it touches. This will is transfiguring, taking the many into the one. The many become one. And in this will, there will be a golden silence in the heart and the mind. And an understanding will develop that in our true selves, we are all